companies like Tesla are wasting their time making luxury EVs costing tens of thousands of dollars, India has unveiled an engineering marvel, an EV costing only $3,500, fully functional and powered by solar panels. It's no mere concept, it's a dream realized already on the road. And the credit doesn't go to the big names in the Indian automotive industry like Tata or Mahindra. Rather, it was made by four friends with nothing but ambition in hand. With pre-bookings already sold out, why is this unique EV such a huge hit in the Indian market? Keep watching to find out. The launch of the perfect solution. The VAVE EVA was officially revealed during the Bharat Mobility Global Expo in 2025, and when the curtains came down, the audience could not believe their eyes. VAVE Mobility had unveiled a vehicle that broke all conventions. This wasn't just any EV. VAVE Mobility had studied the Indian market closely and made an electric car custom designed to fit the exact requirements of the big cities. And they did it at a price point so insanely low that no other EV in the world can match it. The EVA's starting price is a meager 3.25 lakh rupees. That's a bit under 3,500 American dollars. But before we discuss how that is possible, let's first take a look at what makes the EVA so different. The first thing that stands out about it is its size. The EVA is only 10 feet long and 4 feet wide. That makes it extremely compact, only slightly bigger than a motorbike. But that size isn't a weakness. It is the biggest, most important feature of this car. You see, India is a country of motorbikes and scooters. In the cities, the streets are narrow, crowded, and prone to traffic jams. This is why most Indians choose to buy motorbikes and scooters instead of cars. These two-wheelers can easily weave in and out of traffic, making way where a standard car would get stuck, unable to move. And this has been one of the main reasons why Indians haven't been buying electric cars, instead opting for e-scooters and e-motorbikes. According to the statistics, over 15 million two-wheeler EVs are sold in India every year. Those are huge numbers. Meanwhile, only 200,000 electric cars are sold in the same span of time. But here's the problem. These two-wheelers may seem great on paper, but they also prove to be deadly. Most of the time, they are haphazardly used with no regard to safety. It's not uncommon to see a family of 3 or more balancing on a motorbike in the streets of Delhi or Kolkata without a single helmet or protective gear in sight. Accidents are common, and the riders are constantly exposed to the weather. On the other hand, electric cars are far too big to have the same practical advantage as these two-wheelers, even if they are safer and provide more comfort. VAVE Mobility saw this problem clearly. They knew that a standard electric car would not be able to navigate the chaos of Indian streets. So they needed a compromise. With the EVA, they struck the perfect balance. The EV is compact, capable of winding through narrow streets and through traffic easily. At the same time, it offers protection and safety features desperately needed. And despite that small size, the EVA manages to seat up to 3 people, 2 adults, including the driver and a child. The single driver's seat is located up front. Meanwhile, 2 seats are located at the back for the passengers. This is perfect for a small family and provides a similar seating arrangement as that of a motorbike or scooter, only much more comfortable and safe. While the original concept design was meant to have just 1 door, the final version of the EV features 2 doors for convenience. But don't take the EVA lightly. Despite its small size and low price point, it is a fully fledged electric car with more features than you would expect. Small package big punch. The EVA comes in 3 battery pack sizes called Nova, Stella, and Vega. They offer 77 miles, 108, and 155 miles respectively on a single complete charge. For an inner-city normal commute that the EVA is designed for, this is quite enough. In dense cities, an office commute or a milk run with the nuclear family is not that long. Additionally, these battery packs are waterproof rated to survive the heavy monsoon rains that India is known for. The charge time for all 3 versions is also pretty good. The Nova and Stella take about 5 hours to charge from 10% to 90%. Meanwhile, the Vega only takes 20 minutes to get to 70% on a DC charge. Nova and Stella have a top speed of 37 miles per hour, while the Vega boasts a slightly higher 43 miles per hour top speed. Now you may be thinking these specs aren't something to boast about. They are pretty average. But that's the point. The EV is not designed to stand out in terms of extreme performance, it is a super budget EV. The low top speed is quite enough for a drive on the busy roads of Mumbai or New Delhi, where the traffic is so dense that a car doesn't get the opportunity to go over 15 miles an hour. It's just enough to get the job done well enough. The EVA is designed to provide a better alternative to scooters and motorbikes, not to compete with the top-of-the-line EVs on the market. However, one standout feature about the Nova can be seen on its roof, an innovative solution that could prove to be a genius masterstroke for the Indian climate: the solar roof. When EVA was unveiled, everyone was curious about the solar panel on its top. Features like this have been used around the globe, but more often than not, they tend to fail. The solar panel on the roof doesn't generate enough energy to power the car in a significant manner. But when it came to the EVA, it was quite different. According to the manufacturers, this solar roof is capable of adding 6 miles of range a day. Over a year, that's 1,864 extra miles. Those are huge numbers, which translate to nearly 100 free round trips of commute a year. But here is the big question. Does this really work? Well, the stats from the manufacturer are probably in ideal conditions. Clear skies, perfect sunlight angles. So the real number will probably be less than that. However, this solar panel feature isn't useless at all. Rather, India is one of the few countries where it is actually beneficial. In fact, according to studies, India is considered one of the best-suited markets in the world for solar panel-assisted EVs. The reason is that India is tropical and near the equator, so it tends to get a lot more sunlight a day than, say, Britain. In regions like these, the solar panel can generate a decent amount of electricity year-round. As a general estimate, we can expect the EVA to generate roughly half the advertised amount of electricity, which comes to about 900 miles a year. Not bad. Plus, a feature like this helps reduce range anxiety and reduce charging sessions over time. Now keep in mind that it is a supplementary electricity source, not a primary charging method. The one downside is that if the EV is used in a city canyon where houses and buildings block a lot of sunlight, the solar panel will become completely useless. Or if the car is parked away from the sun, the results will be similar. For a car costing less than $3,500, it's quite impressive. Though how is the EVA so cheap? Where the cost is saved? India is home to some of the most affordable cars in the world. So to compete in that same market as an EV, the EVA had to be made at as low a price point as possible. And how they did it is quite interesting. The smaller form factor of the car is intuitive for the specific use case in India's crowded neighborhood, which also meant that fewer materials were needed during manufacturing. This brought down the overall cost per car significantly. Instead of using the more expensive multi-layer paint, they used cheaper single-layer paint. Additionally, the car comes in 6 colors: moonstone white, light platinum, rose coral, sky blue, champagne gold, and cherry red. The motors used in the EVs are also smaller and less powerful. The reason being that the EVA is designed for normal commute use in the heavy traffic streets of India, so they don't need to reach a higher speed. This way, the manufacturers did not have to use more expensive, powerful motors. But the biggest money saver was the manufacturing. India has a large automotive manufacturing industry, but mostly EVs are made overseas, or at least the components are sourced from overseas. This adds taxes and import fees that significantly drive up the price of the final car. Wave Mobility knew that if they were making a super budget EV, they could not afford to pay those fees and taxes. So they decided to do what most automotive companies don't. They decided to make the components for their cars in India. Battery cells were manufactured in Maharashtra, the chassis in Haryana. Solar panels formed Tamil Nadu, and electric motors were made in Gujarat. The entirety of the car's major components was made and manufactured in India, bypassing import duties and taxes. For the EVA, the assembly lines became another cost saver. The company avoided fully automated assembly lines where robots do all the work, as they are more expensive. They instead opted for cheaper labor. This also helped reduce the capital investment significantly, which for the newly made Wave Mobility was a lifesaver. Now, while all those features have helped reduce the overall cost of the EVA, the real money saver has been a rather unique financing method the company has employed: financing half an EV. To make the EVA more affordable, Wave Mobility opted for a different way of pricing its EV. While the customers can buy the entire vehicle, they can also opt to buy an EVA without the battery component. This doesn't mean they don't get a battery. Rather, the company utilizes the battery as a service model. Essentially, the customer is then renting the battery component from the company, paying 2 rupees per kilometer driven. That is way cheaper than the price of gas for the same distance traveled. Depending on the model, they have a minimum monthly distance that must be paid. But once you go over that limit, you only pay for what you use. It is a rather ingenious strategy. Wave Mobility is able to list its EV at a much lower price by completely eliminating the cost of the battery from the equation during the initial purchase. So even the customers with a lower budget can afford to buy an EV. Meanwhile, Wave Mobility gets a customer for the life of the vehicle, or until they purchase the battery component. A win-win for the company. On top of that, this approach doesn't even require too much capital from the company's side. The battery packs used in the EVA aren't too high capacity. Plus, they are made from cheaper materials. So, it doesn't cost a leg and an arm for the company or the customer to buy them. Wave Mobility has used all these tricks and strategies to price their EVA model at such a low price of $3,500. But then again, that number comes with an asterisk next to it. The real price tag. So is the pricing of an EVA really that low by just cutting corners? Well, the answer is yes, but with some caveats. Wave Mobility has created several tiers and optional additions for the EV. The cheapest $3,500 price point advertised across headlines is the base version without the battery pack included. If you include the battery pack and go with the Vega variant of the vehicle, the price pretty much doubles. It is still affordable, just not as much as the base version. Another thing to note is that the solar panel on the roof of the EVA is also an optional inclusion. Customers have to pay extra to have it be a part of their package. Otherwise, the standard model comes with a sunroof instead. Now, to be clear, Wave Mobility isn't false advertising here. There really is a version of the car you can get for super cheap. It just doesn't come with the best that the other models have to offer. But despite that, it remains a very solid EV option for in-city commute usage. And more than anyone's words, the reactions of the customers at the unveiling are enough to prove that. Wave Mobility offered early buyers the opportunity to book their EVA for a token of just 5,000 rupees. That's roughly $60 in total. And to reward this early booking, the customers were offered an extended battery warranty and a complimentary vehicle connectivity suite. And this was a huge hit. Customers quickly booked the EVs out, showing clearly that there is a clear demand for this new take on an electric vehicle. And once you look at the great things the base model offers, it's hard not to see why that is the case. A more efficient car. The base model of the EVA car comes with a lot of features that more than justify its already low price point. Take the efficiency of the EV, for example. According to the manufacturer, the running cost of the EVA is only half a rupee per kilometer. Now, if we look at the gasoline equivalent, it costs anywhere from 5 to 7 rupees per kilometer. That is a huge difference. And if the solar panel is included, running the EVA becomes even cheaper. And from a customer point of view, it is an easy way to save money in the long term. The EVA isn't a show-off purchase. It is proving to be a very practical and financially feasible purchase for the average Indian household. Now let's take a look at the interior. The EVA comes with a dual-screen dashboard which displays all the essential information to the driver using a digital instrument cluster alongside an infotainment display. While not super strong, the EV also features a decent air conditioning system, an essential for the hot Indian summers. The back seats fold up as well to create a boot space of 300 liters. On top of that, the EVA comes equipped with Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. And of course, there are the essentials like airbags and a reverse parking camera. Overall, it's certainly not a bad deal for the very basic version of the EV that comes at the famously advertised $3,500 price point. Though another place where the EVA shines is its repairability. It has a built-in vehicle diagnostic system. As for the physical hardware, the manufacturers made it surprisingly easy to repair even by third parties. The body of the vehicle uses a steel frame with bolt-on panels. These are much easier to repair compared to a unibody construction that most modern EVs come equipped with. Any mechanic or dealership can remove and replace a damaged panel individually. Basically, no specialized technician or training is required. This design philosophy is further seen in the modular design of the vehicle. This approach means that in most cases, parts from another manufacturer can be outfitted into the vehicle if something gets damaged. Most of the systems utilize widely available parts that any mechanic can acquire and use. Unlike modern EVs that rely on more complicated car design to ensure their dealerships and shops become the sole repair option available to their customers, this pro-repair approach is a breath of fresh air. But would a big company making a signature EV break the conventions that other brands follow? Well, much like EVA, VAVE Mobility is a new face in the market. A small company making it big. VAVE Mobility isn't some established giant company pumping out a new model every year. Rather, it is a very small business started by 4 friends who left their well-paying jobs to start a company together. They didn't have any experience in the automotive industry, which is what led to their unique vision in the form of EVA, a fresh innovation from a new company in the market, trying something risky that no other established brand would. But will it work? The answer isn't clear just yet. While EVA has received a lot of public support and early bookings, there are some major hurdles that need to be overcome to make the founder's dream come true. And the biggest of these hurdles is actually the small size and scale of the company. The EVA is entering a market which has a lot of demand. Here, even established brands with massive assembly complexes sometimes have a hard time meeting that demand. And with the interest generated in EVA over the past year, there is a big question in the air whether VAVE Mobility has the capital, facilities, and the supply chain to mass-produce the EVs they have promised. Currently, the company operates with just a few employees. If they intend on meeting its goal of mass-producing EVAs, the company needs to scale up rapidly in the coming months. Right now, the infrastructure for making this dream come true just isn't there. The question is, can VAVE Mobility build that infrastructure up in time? This is especially concerning once you consider that the company has itself stated the EVA EVs are still under development, so the models we have seen are not the final product just yet. They may undergo major changes, even price adjustments, by the time the deliveries start going out. If the delivery timelines start slipping or there are significant changes to the EV that the customers don't end up liking, the public could lose trust and sales. While a major brand can bear that kind of damage to its reputation and still pull through, for a small company like VAVE Mobility, it will be a death sentence. Finally, there is the issue of competition. EVA virtually has none. There is no other brand on the market that has made an EV so cheap. While that can be a good thing for sales, it does have its downsides. Mainly, VAVE Mobility is sailing in unknown waters. There is no established playbook they can follow. How will the market react to this new revolutionary product? Will the customers be happy with the final EV they receive? Will the EVA even be a success on the road? There are so many unknowns and no way to reasonably predict the answers to many of these questions. All we know is that the last time Tata tried doing something similar with their Nano series by making the world's cheapest gasoline car, its early models were on fire, quite literally. Will VAVE Mobility manage to avoid making such a mistake, especially since they yet lack a big enough quality control team? It's too early to tell, but if they are successful, if they manage to deliver the cheapest EV ever made, it would be groundbreaking. The impact on Horizon. So what will India with EVA on the streets look like? Well, if it succeeds, EVA will essentially bridge the gap between electric vehicles and two-wheeler preference. We could see fewer people using motorbikes and scooters and more people in compact EVs. We could also see more brands pop up, specializing and improving in the extremely budget-friendly EV niche. These brands will innovate further, hopefully bringing the technology to new heights. With widespread adoption, the general traffic safety in the nation may also improve. With more EVs on the road instead of gas cars, there will finally be a solution to the congestion problem that also helps reduce pollution. Widespread adoption will further prompt the development of the charging infrastructure in India, which has been lagging behind severely. Most importantly of all, however, will be the economic growth. VAVE Mobility could end up being a gem that grows and turns into a national pillar in the automotive industry, like Tata. And since VAVE Mobility makes its EVs in-house, the growth of the company will generate jobs in India and help drive forward the wheels of the economy. On that note, that does it for this video. If you enjoyed watching, be sure to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next one.